Yeah, we're gonna hunt some monsters with Lobos. But yeah, honestly, at this point, like I'm having a ton of fun with Monster Hunter. I don't know. I actually feel like I should just go back and play World at this point, at least soon. Like maybe we'll do Wilds for like another day or two, but I think if I want to do more Monster Hunter, going to World would be a good idea, or maybe even one of the earlier games. But I never finished Fatalis and Iceborne, so, and World is like the most popular one, so it's probably would be the best choice for like stream. I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick, chat, and then we will maybe group up with Lobos. I don't know if he's in a hunt right now. Alright, I'm gonna put on my headphones. I don't know if Lobos wants to hop on voice. We don't need to be on voice. It might just be easier if we're like making a lobby just to tell each other when to join and stuff. Oh man. Dude, I've been missing so much background noise in this game because I haven't had headphones on. I don't know if my speakers are just bad, but I just like... Wait, my controller's not working. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna knock on Lobos' stream. I did the shared chat with Lobos. Should I turn on shared chat? Boom. Woo! We want real emotes. Whoa! All right, I'll give Lobos a call. I mean, we don't need to talk too much, just so we can like.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? One sec, let me check if I have my foot switch plugged in.
Oh yeah, the foot switch.
Yeah, hold on. Actually, I guess I could just test. It is not plugged in. Hold on.
All right.
Okay. So how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Have you fought Tempered Archveld?
No,
Yeah.
I was just talking about that. I haven't seen him yet.
Okay. Yeah, until like right around your hunter rank, I think.
Your robot mode. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Is it okay now?
Okay, you're good now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my controller like disconnected for a second. Maybe that's why.
Oh. Do you have like an investigation? Or
I
anything
do.
for him?
I have a Giga investigation that I farmed.
Nice. Okay, so how do we do like a link party, right?
Yeah, okay, so there is like the lobby ID. We could also do link party. Dude, this game has like 4 different ways of grouping with somebody, and it's like, it's so dumb.
Can you do it through Steam or no? That would be sick.
I
Well, I
can
don't
send
see
an
one
invite
mine.
through Steam, but you should be able to just join my like lobby ID. I will
Okay.
post it in Discord. I mean, other people will be able to join, but it should be fine. Everyone's respectful. They're not gonna steal your spot.
You say that now. Okay. No, I'll keep
I mean,
it.
if we want to just do duo though, we could just do that too. Like just me and you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, I don't care. It's whatever. Lobby ID search. Okay. Let me get that real quick.
I heard from the others. Hello.
Searching for lobby. All right, I should be here. I don't know where you're at, but yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I was fixing some stuff. I wonder if we could see each other.
If we go to the same place, I think so.
Oh,
I'm in,
where are you?
Windward Plains base camp.
Okay, I'm coming.
What? Well, I guess I'll see in a sec. I was gonna ask what you're rocking.
I've been using the longsword, but
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of bored of it. No, it's okay. I think I'll go horn since we're doing co-op anyways.
Nice. I've always been a hammer main, but I have fallen in love with sword and shield.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the upswings are like so fun on the hammer.
yeah.
You can just like non-stop parry with that thing.
Oh yeah, I haven't really gotten that too much. I just
Oh,
love.
have you not? Do you know how like they work with the hammer?
Yeah, I know how that works now. Someone told me, but
there's 2 parries you can do. If
oh, there's 2.
yeah,
I
so
only knew the upswing of the Y combo.
okay, so yeah, there's the Y combo. So like if your weapon's out and you do forward Y twice and then you do the upswing, I'm sure that's one you know about.
Yes.
And then after a spin, like so there's like if you look at the
Oh, yeah.
icon in the top right, there's like 3 stages of the spin, and
Yeah.
you just hold triangle at the end of the spin, like towards the end, and then you can go into the and I think it's like a stronger one. Oh, I can see you.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I was using the. Oh, you've got the Guardian set, huh?
Yeah, I was farming him a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've been doing on hammer a lot is just the. Like full Y combo into YB for the spin, the old school spin, and then after the upswing, then going into the new like Omega
The mighty
spin.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah,
you basically
looping that.
you just do that back into the spin, back
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
mighty charge. It's like a rinse
and over
repeat.
and over.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Ooh, that sword looks cool. What?
Oh,
whose
thank
weapon
you.
Is that?
This is Lala Barina,
Oh, okay.
the spider lady. Yeah.
I need to check on a new sword and shield because I've been using, I think Rathian Princess Rapier level 2, but I think it's behind.
Yeah. Mine's a rarity 8. This one, but it's paralysis, so I get like a ton of paralysis procs, but I don't know. The damage doesn't feel that good.
Yeah, I need a Rathian Ruby for rarity 8. I'm still rarity 7 right now.
Know where to find me.
A Rathian Ruby. I might have
Yeah.
an investigation for that. I can.
What can I do for you?
Oh, aren't
Maybe.
there guaranteed?
Yeah, there
gem
are.
investi-
So-
I haven't. Yeah, that's nuts.
I don't know if you knew this, but like on the map, you can save the monsters that appear as
Yeah.
like investigations.
Yeah.
So yeah, every time I see a gem, I just like save it. So I have like
Oh,
a.
so it's just random and it just shows a gem sometimes?
Yep.
Damn. Okay, that's sick. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, if you got a Rathian gem guaranteed, like that's all I need for the next tier. Because I've been running poison sword and shield for quick poisoning.
Gotcha. So I don't know if I do, but there's another thing you can do, which I learned. And so every time, I don't know if you can do this yet. Maybe you need to be like, I mean, you probably can. You can check if you rest at the camp, or if you sit in the camp, you can rest and respawn all the monsters. So you can keep refreshing like the lists in your map, just to. That's basically what I did to like try to get gems.
Nice.
You can just like SOS flare and look for gems, but like everybody's doing that, so it's really annoying.
I've just been SOSing and I haven't even been like targeting gems. I've just
Gotcha.
been being more casual with it, just hitting the monster and going for the percentage drop.
Honestly, like I kind of wish they didn't add the. Like I kind of like farming for it. It's satisfying when you finally get it. So yeah, the guarantee is like, I get why they did it, but
yeah.
All right. Well, I can post Arkveld. I don't have a Rathian ruby.
Oh, that's fine.
So
That's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just do subhard damage.
this guy is pretty scary. So
Yeah, he's like he dead angles me a lot because I'm blocking a lot with this, but he'll just get around it and it sucks.
So yeah, this is I'll post my Giga investigation.
Shall we get started?
I'm ready. Oh wait, lobby member. Ooh, nice. 45 minutes. Okay, no problem. No problem.
Yeah. Gives so many parts. Wow, we have a lot of people in our. Wait.
In what, our session?
Oh no, this must not be. If you go to the member list.
Yeah, I see 3 people, but not you.
Oh, that's so weird. I see like so many people. All right, well, we can just go, me and you. Let's do it.
Yeah, do it.
Understood.
Oh, let me restart my Discord because I need to put it in admin mode.
Okay. Oh, I gotcha.
Okay.
Had a nice little meal. I put on the Tears
right.
of Denial meal, just in case.
Niall?
Yeah, there's like, I think it's called Moxie meal. And that prevents you from fainting like one time, I think.
Oh shoot, that's tight. I see. Yeah. I hadn't noticed that, but I had been doing it just because it's on the recommended.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go.
I'm surprised you're HR 52 though. You've been going pretty hard. Like
Yeah, but like one entire night, all I was doing was helping like low rank fights.
Oh, okay. So
I
you're
wasn't
just like
getting
grind.
much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've played 40 hours. I played 13 hours first day, 13 hours second day, 14 hours yesterday, and I'm like HR 60. So like, you're not even that far behind me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably at like 34 hours, so I'm a bit behind. But I think the ranking up probably slows down unless you're really grinding the top mons.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we'll see.
There was a guy in my lobby who was HR 125 last night. I was like,
Yeah.
how? Like he must have had an early like a review copy or something.
Maybe.
I don't know how else.
There we go. Got that. Is there any monster you're hoping will be in here, like later?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So I never finished Iceborne. I've actually, now that I'm like kind of in the end game of this, I've been thinking about going back to World to do Fatalis. No, I never did Fatalis.
Or like any like.
Oh, I finished main game and I got halfway through Iceborne, but I never finished it.
If you do that, let me know when you get to like the Omega fights, Alatreon and Fatalis. Because I wanted to do those solo eventually. It's like, it's a big investment though.
Yeah.
But I still want to do it.
Yeah, I'm still like in the Monster Hunter mode. It's just,
yeah.
Like I feel like there's only so much stuff in this game to do.
Do you have any element, or are you just pure fizz?
I have paralysis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This guy's in such a bad spot.
Oh, they're fighting.
Well,
oh, no.
Maybe good for you.
I love ledges when it's hammer, but in hammer you can change the direction mid-air and not with.
Oh, I saw you doing that. I wasn't sure.
You can just spam jump attacks and it's so good. Ledge sucks here. That's it. I'm going hammer.
All right, I'm going down. I'm bringing him down.
Oh my god. Ah, there he goes.
I can't parry to save my life, chat. I wish I had a foot pedal. I need to bind like muting my mic to my controller.
Bonking is in this one. Try and stay clear.
Might be able to cut. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh, another stagger. I'm gonna try to cut the tail.
Once he leaves, I'll go Sword and Shield and help out with that. God. Unless he doesn't leave. He's getting I think.
Got it.
Oh, nice.
It's already leaving.
Yeah, what the heck? Did you mount him recently?
I did at the start. You might be able to get one now. I don't know. Mounts are tough. I feel like you can only get 2 per fight, like max. Maybe
Yeah,
it depends
that's
on
about
the.
right.
Is there like a skill for mounting?
I think there is, but also it's just like the more you try for it, like they have like a resistance that you can eventually break through. At least in World.
Oh yeah, we gotta carve the tail. We can do it after. He should be dead.
Oh,
soon.
right. I'll just try and kill him now. Up, screamed out of the air. Hey, does not want to be mounted.
It's gotta be almost dead.
Yeah, I don't see a soul for him, but it's probably.
Oh, I
because
see it
haven't
now.
hunted him enough. Oh, there it is. Should we cap? I've got a. Oh, you got it right. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Oh,
Let's pick it up.
trained him.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Is the tail back here, I think?
Don't forget, you can carve materials from severed parts.
Hi, buddy. I'm gonna see if I can get a sneak attack.
Oh yeah, tail's right here, if you want it.
I get lost under this guy so much.
Yeah, this is the camera boss, honestly.
Yeah.
Ouchie.
I knew it was coming. I just didn't see it. Oh, here's the
Yeah.
No! See this hit. Ah, there we go.
Oh, nice. I don't even think this is his tail. I don't know where. His tail's like in the ground, I think.
Definitely taking a while.
I feel like my game sound is like so loud, chat. Is it okay? Oh God. Messing this guy up.
Yeah. I missed with my pod. It's hard. I need new armor for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I made like a Divine Blessing 3 talisman just for this.
Oh, nice, nice.
Coffee goats. Yeah, I'm probably gonna switch to hunting horn after
turn the
this.
game down because I can barely hear you in the heat of battle.
Yeah, dude, I also had to do the same. Oh, did you get the tail, by the way?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Is my mic okay, by the way? I see it's like picking up sound, but I mean, I guess
Oh,
the
no, you
game's so
sound-
loud.
You sound fine.
Okay.
What the
I just
hell?
wasn't sure if there was like background noise.
Bro came over here while I was looking for his tail.
Wait, did you found it?
I found it. I got hand snap. No, stop! Okay. Oh wait, I can still carve the hand snap tail again. I've noticed sometimes the wounds are like blue.
Yeah, that's for tempered monsters, I think.
Well, some of them will be blue and then they'll be red on tempered monsters. And if you do the blue ones, it knocks them down.
Oh. I thought it was just like a chance to get knocked down either way, but
I thought it was too, but every time I've done a blue one, it knocks them down. It could be just a big coincidence, but
gotcha.
I did
Yeah,
that
you might
just
be
now.
right.
I did that just now when he was already knocked down, and it like took him again.
Oh. Gotten like 6 paralysis on this guy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's big. I had sleep on my Palico for the longest time, but I had to turn him into the can opener. I can't remember what that is, but he just looks like a robot now.
My chat was a monkey for a while, or my Palico, which is called chat.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh,
Dude, how many?
nice.
Do you know what the red lines over Dungeons mean?
I think it's a crit, maybe? Actually, I don't know.
Yeah. I noticed that early on, and I was just like, I don't know what it is.
Because I know affinity is like your chance to crit, chat was telling me.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's like the affinity hits. Wait, is he? Oh shit.
Wait. Oh. Oh no. Oh.
Oh, I mounted
What?
him.
What? Wait, where are you? Oh, I'm completely.
He's bugged. Or well, he was bugged, but
I'm coming over to you now. He was flying in midair.
yeah.
Okay, just knock him down and I'll trap him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he's already low enough. Nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So See, I also need a Jin Dahad gem, and I tried to get one last night. I was like, oh, I'll just do one more hunt just to get this gem real quick. And that was when I got into the bugged lobby that took like 35 minutes. And then after that, I got into I SOS fired in another one, and my team died when he was at like 10% health. They all died in the explosion.
No.
Yeah. God, look at all that loot.
Yeah, it's a lot of loot. Ooh, rarity 8 stuff. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, have you like messed with the Ardean stuff?
I
much?
made an Ardean hammer. It's rank 7. Yeah, and I
Okay.
know more or less how it works for like element and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking to eventually get a poison sword and shield Ardean, but you need all those pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just gotta do Arkfeld or, well, I guess any like high enough tempered monsters.
Yeah.
I think tempered Jindahad is
I
probably
can help you source
enough too.
materials.
Probably.
Let's see. I mean, that gave so many tier 8 parts. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I just reloaded over and over until I found the, like, because the double hunt investigation just gives so many rewards. So good.
No, I'm down for Jin Dahan. I love that fight.
Yeah, I don't have one with the gem, but we could just do it. I don't know if I have a tempered one though. Check. I don't think I've done him tempered yet.
I don't think I have either.
I'm gonna make a hammer though.
Ooh.
Well,
Ardian?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, making Ardian weapons is easy, but I don't know if you've seen how reinforcing them works. It's like, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I was able to do one fully upgraded right off the bat without,
Well,
you know, I hadn't
yeah.
spent any of my mats, but it was, yeah, I mean,
So-
it's obviously it's an RNG roll, but
Well,
yeah, I didn't upgrade fully.
The Rarity 7 one only costs 600 to upgrade. The Rarity 8 costs 3,000.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
like,
have some sort of end game.
yeah. for sure. But there's like 5 levels, so I don't even know how much you need to get it max. It's crazy. Probably need to kill Arkfeld like 50 times.
All right.
Let's see
Let's
what
see what we can come up with.
What kind of horn should I make, chat?
That was actually my first investigation. I had saved some monsters, but I didn't do them because I kept getting higher level and higher level ones.
Yeah.
I want some event quests. I wanted to throw in some event quests because those are always fun.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Where would you? Jindahad's in the ice area, right? So I'm gonna check the ice.
It's 15k. You have to make it again to reroll. Yeah,
I saw
so
him pop up once.
what
as,
would
like,
be a good
kind of
horn, chat? Does anyone
a
know?
random thing, like, and it said, "Oh, he's available now for like extra loot," and so I went and did him.
Ah.
So it seems like you can just randomly get that. I
Central,
don't know
thank
if
you
you
for the
can save
sub.
that as an investigation though.
I think you could save anything that appears on the map.
That'd be really nice.
Is
Also, can we
Blast good?
rest for Jindahad spawns?
So, okay, can you rest as the non, like, I assume we're on separate.
I think we're separate. Like, let me see. It gives me, yeah, it says, like, I can hit yes here.
Okay, we're probably like both client side for that then, for, like
Yeah.
the monsters.
Let me check the schedule.
Okay, let's crack a few ancient mysteries.
See, I don't see Jindahad on, like, the environment schedule or whatever. So I don't know how he works. He might show up more like,
I mean, we can make a fire.
the freaking, I don't know, the raids or whatever.
Blast is
Oh, you
best.
might not have done those.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did.
There was Tolv, what was his name? Something Tolv, and it's like
Doesn't love a little ancient technology.
kind of a DPS race. You come in with a group and you make progress.
We could
towards
make a
it.
blast charge blade.
Cold Terra. Anyways. Well, if we want to just do an optional for Jindahad, I'm down. If he's in there.
Hello.
Yeah, sure. I'm making a blast charge blade. I wanted to make a horn, but I don't.
Ooh, charge blade.
Yeah. I wanted to make a blast horn, but I don't have enough parts for it. I want to go horn, chat, damn it. But I don't have the parts. I don't want to use longsword.
Doesn't love a little ancient technology.
Whatever. Let's make a fire one.
I
Fuck
only
it.
have,
I'm gonna try it.
Ready to get to work?
I guess 6 stars is the most I'm seeing here.
All right, let's see what we can.
All right, I want to try to. I want to do one reinforcement. I know it's probably dumb and I shouldn't, but I want to just see what you get from it. Whatever.
Look good.
Have you gotten any of the, what are they called, like Hunter Note 3? Or
Affinity
it's
boost.
an
I
upgrade
see.
material. Let's see, or it's a crafting material, I mean.
Which one? Sorry.
Hold on, I'm getting the name
Got something
exact.
in
Okay.
mind?
Oh,
Come back
Hunter
anytime.
Symbol 3. Have you gotten any of
Oh
those?
yeah. So you get those from the Tempered Arkfeld. I think it's a chance, or maybe
Oh,
also
okay.
Tempered
Oh yeah, I
Jindahad.
got some now actually. I just
Okay,
noticed.
nice.
Nice.
Can't create more than 3 echoes with Hunting Horn. Yeah, that's normal though. Whoa. Did I fix the hunting horn problem? No. I have no idea. For some reason my binds just don't I can't do a dual bind. It just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work. I don't know why. Like I can show you guys. RB, right bumper, back, like this is my bumper, right bumper, executes command, YB,
Alright. I'm gonna
regular
run to the
press.
restroom.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, whoops. I guess I accidentally started the quest. Are you done pretty quick? Or are you still working on forging that Ardean weapon?
Yeah, I made a horn. So there's like a glitch with the horn, or like some issue in the game where when you try to do, have you used the horn before?
I used it in the beta.
Okay,
And I used
well,
a bunch in Rise.
so you have like the Y plus B attack, like the dual note or whatever. And whenever
Yeah.
I try to do that, it'll do like double inputs. So like I'll press triangle circle and then it'll do like a circle input first and then triangle circle.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it only happens during the like echo bubble and the focus strike. So I don't know. There's some sort of like input issue with that.
So
and
does
I
it,
was
like queue up both attacks back to back?
well, it's not even queuing up the tax. It's just like because during the echo bubble, you can do 3 notes. You don't like attack during it. It's you just like
I see,
queue
okay.
up or like store notes during it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I've been like losing my mind because I can't do inputs consistently, and I've been trying to bind like a dual button press to my bumper, but it doesn't work, and I don't know why. Like yeah, it's super weird.
Poo poo.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, I'm basically ready. You can-
Okay.
You're going to the bathroom,
I
right?
think you can join.
Oh, Jindahad?
Yeah, Jindahad, yeah.
Okay.
I just
Is it
started-
tempered or just normal?
I heard from the others.
It's just an optional one.
Okay.
It's regular. I haven't
Hold
seen
on, I'm
tempered
gonna
yet.
check my map just to be sure we don't have anything.
Right.
All right, I'm in.
Oh, whoops. I was pressing the wrong button trying to break a wound on his back, and I just sat there like spamming brace over and over.
You know, it's so weird too because my back paddle was working the first time I plugged it into this, like when I was trying to use it. It's so, like, I've never had this issue with Steam Overlay where it just doesn't work. Wait. Have I been fucking... I think I know what the issue was. Wait, is this... No, wait, no. There's like official layouts, but then there's my layout. But wait, is my layout the same? That's so crazy that it doesn't... Why doesn't it work? It's so...
Holy shit,
I don't...
this is so hot.
I don't get it. Why doesn't it work? Oh, Lobos is fighting. Whatever. Hey, Tommy, thank you for the 13 months. He's already moving. That was so fast.
Yeah. This Ardian, like the super swing thing, is 478. I don't know.
Jeez.
Sometimes it seems like you get huge hits. I don't entirely know why.
Oh, my meal is running out. Hold on. Well, you can fight. I'll be eating.
He's bored of us, not paying attention. Oh, there he goes.
It's for the Arc one of the armor pieces. Okay, I have a song that restores sharpness. I'm curious if you could pay attention if it works for you.
Okay, mine's really high right now, so.
Okay, I'll wait a little. Wait. This haunting horn doesn't have the parry on it. That's bullshit. I didn't even know that was possible. There's 3 offset attacks? Well, but I don't have any, I don't think.
How do you like Hunting Horn compared to...
Is it? Wait, yo, that resounding melody is crazy.
The whole like rune on the ground is new, right?
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I was just saying, Hunting Horn compared to the other games, like...
Oh, yeah, I think it's pretty cool, apart from the input issue.
Well, yeah.
Okay, what's your sharpness at?
Like 95%.
Okay, well, come over here. I just want to see.
Okay, I stopped like right before the...
Okay, I'm coming up.
The jump down.
I mean, oh, oopsie.
Oh, jump down, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's like... I wanted
All right,
to
let's
see
see.
if it was in worse shape. Okay, so it did like... Oh, okay. It did like 2% per hit.
Okay. Is the resounding melody a parry chat? It kind of seems like it is. Oops. Only the offset one, but this one doesn't have it. Damn.
I think it's safe. Bye. Break. Oh. Can you roll off a ledge and change direction with the running horn?
I don't know.
Similar weapons.
Good question.
Like, in a situation like this, like, I'm just multi-bashing his head. Oh, there it goes. Nice. Oh, I got arrow. Oh, is he doing this thing?
I do. You doing the thing.
He's doing the thing. Oh, shit.
He's pretty slow. Have you tried the purple mantle?
The what?
The purple mantle.
Oh, yeah. That's the one I use.
Nice.
Are you throwing in the repair thing here and there? Because I haven't had to at all. Like,
I've been using it a little bit, yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Repairing is pretty quick though. I don't, or maybe I have grinder. I'm not sure. Feels like it's faster in this game compared to World.
What is Harry?
The repairing.
Oh, repairing. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Plus, you can like repair a little bit at a time instead of like the whole thing. No. The wall doesn't help against that. Grab it.
Yeah, grabbing it's kind of janky. Ooh, the tail. Nice. Try, yes.
I just want to see how. I don't know how much you can chain together or whatever.
Oh yeah, let me queue like a few up. All right, repairs incoming.
Is that it?
No, there's more coming.
Oh yeah, nice. That's pretty good. I got me like 20% of my repair.
Okay, that was two repair songs.
And you can do
with like encore. Yeah, I just.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. Oh, here we go again.
Yeah. Oh
I got it.
I'm not kidding. I went out early.
Wait, you didn't get one shot?
What's that?
You didn't get one shot?
I ate my Moxie or whatever.
Oh, right, the Moxie. Gotcha. Yeah.
Falco's really strong in this. They heal you so fast.
Yeah.
You and everything.
Yeah, Palico's OP. Honestly. pretty quick.
Yeah, not too bad.
Come on,
Oh,
Jim.
with the tail.
Ah,
Good luck. I like how you climb on top of him.
Man, you get so many cuts from this guy.
Yeah. You big boy. Anything?
No gem.
No.
That's okay. I didn't have any gems in my hunting horn. I forgot.
Oh. Would you mind doing a Rathian for a gem?
Sure. I mean, do we want to RNG it, or do you want to see if we?
Yeah, let's
Can
try
get
and
one?
like farm one. Yeah. Forest, right?
Yeah, it's. Well, they can spawn anywhere.
Oh, wait,
actually.
I have one.
Oh,
right
with the
now.
gem.
Yeah, with the gem. Let me
Nice.
just mark it. That's freaking busted.
Yep. Yaha.
Surely we have a fire jewel. Oh, we have a blaze too.
Yeah. Okay. Opening it. 3 gems.
Boy.
From my items.
Yaha.
Oh yeah, I'm running to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Oh wait, this is crit element and blaze. Yo, that's perfect actually. We have level 3 fire attack bonus now. It's pretty good, I think. 480 fire damage, 32% affinity.
Done already?
Oh wait, Lobo's, I think he posted it right.
Right.
Did I solve the input problem? Nope. It's whatever, I've just accepted it. I don't know why I can't bind my back buttons on my controller. I genuinely have no idea. PlayStation controller support is enabled. Yeah, I don't know what, it's so weird.
Hey. Done already?
I don't use keyboard mouse. I use controller. Or do you mean you expected me to use keyboard mouse?
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, I have like the $200 fucking dual sense.
Get destroyed.
Yeah.
Have another hut with no surprises today. A supply shipment's come in. Hope you find something useful.
Wait, what? Now it...
Hmm?
No, nothing. Sorry, I was trying to fix some stuff on my controller. Now it works, Chad. I turned this setting off and on, and now it works. At least with the default. Select a game action. Oh, wait. Maybe I need to... Triangle button. Circle button. It works, chat. Oh my god, we did it. We fixed it. We just had to turn the setting off and on. It was like broken or something. Attack gems are much more common. I've only found 2 total. And they're level 1. Get down here.
I really need to put flashes in my item loadout.
I have flashes and the phosphorus, so I can make more even if I need to. We'll try hard.
Hail went over. Oh, we're half alone. Yeah, poop. Oh my god.
I'm gonna poop this guy.
Yeah.
Alright, he's pooped.
Nice. Have you done any clashes? It's like
Yeah, a little bit. I think you only get them with weapons that like block, though.
yeah. I love it.
My health is like draining over time.
Your health?
Yeah.
That's the purple cloak, isn't it?
Oh, does that actually drain your health?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I thought it just made you take like more damage.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first, but then today, yeah, it was definitely draining big time. And I was like, oh.
Sharpness restoring. Oh, he interrupted.
Sharpness? Oh, no.
He interrupted it. Sure.
Should I stand in your circles, or is that for the enemy?
I don't think it matters if you're standing in it. Ah, dang.
These impart materials are for small monsters as well.
And before 2 gems. Come on, buddy.
Oh yeah, so my bubble,
Oh.
if you're standing in it, you get ailment and blights negated, apparently. So I guess
nice.
like each horn has a different circle buff.
I think that there's different colors, right? Yours is white. I think I've seen blue before.
Yeah, I wonder if the Ardian songs are just like random each time.
Oh gosh.
I saw the truck.
Glad you're in one piece.
Is there anything up here?
This is a rare research opportunity. Can't let it go to waste.
Nice.
Yo, Miki, thank you for the 8 months. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I got 2. Dude, I was gonna call 2.
Nice.
Easy.
Oh, I still have my monitor.
Oh, what? I need, oh no, never mind, I'm good.
Oh. Did my mic sound kind of weird, by the way, before?
No, I would say it
Okay.
sounds weirder now.
Okay. Well, alright, that's weird. I was using the wrong mic.
You sound like,
Does it sound bad now, though?
well, I did boost you at one point. It sounds a little like overblown, but try again.
Yeah. What about now?
It's better now. It's probably just I had you your volume up.
Okay. Yeah, well, it said I was using my controller mic.
What? It
So,
didn't sound that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I heard controllers. Well, what can I do for you? Hey.
Okay. All right, I'm down for whatever now. I got my.
Okay, I need a Jin Dahad gem, so...
Oh yeah, so, sure.
I guess we can rest, and it shouldn't take too long if 2 of us are like trying
I'm
to
down
find it,
for farming.
right?
What's the quickest way to like browse? You just open the main map and look.
Yeah, just the world map and just scroll over like each one, see if there's anything.
And then, I wonder if he like shows up more often with certain environments.
Yeah, it's possible. Dude, I did you do the fishing stuff?
I've only done a little bit so far.
Okay. The fishing gets a little
request. Yeah.
frustrating towards the end. I was mauling yesterday. There's like a rare fish that's like I had to reload like 25 times for it to show up.
Oh shit. Which environment are you doing?
I was doing inclement.
Okay, I'll do fallow. Let's see what happens.
Plenty probably makes the most sense, but it might not matter. Oh yeah, and if you see a tempered Arkfeld Definitely
Oh, yeah.
save that
Save it.
too. This hunting horn is cool, chat, but I can't frickin'.
Can you see the monster if you're not in the area? Do you have to travel there in order to like mark it?
No. No, you can save it from anywhere.
Oh, details. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I'm saving this tempered Gora Magala.
Right.
Well, the problem is I don't know what's, like, we don't even have a parry song on our horn, dude.
I'll be waiting here.
Wide range free mill prolonger. Yeah, I would need to actually get a horn with those songs is the thing, you know? Guardian Doshaguma. Actually, now that I think about it,
I heard from
I do think
others.
Jindahad is pretty rare, though. I feel like I don't see him too often.
I think I'm guessing he only shows up in Ice Shard Cliffs, but I'm not
Why
sure.
not use decorations for them? I don't have
Because like,
decorations.
that's his home, right? On the Ice Shard.
Anyways, it's just me and Lobos, so it's better to go for
I don't
damage.
know.
It's not like we're dying.
Well, multi-quests. I guess. Yeah, saving the multis. That's so many rewards.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. I wasn't ignoring Lobos. Yo, what's up, Trey? Hey, Blaine. Thank you so much for the 15 months.
Inside me.
How many research points do you have?
22,000.
Okay. Yeah, I'm around the same. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever even seen a tempered Jindahad spawn.
I definitely haven't. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist though.
It's okay, Trey. It's gonna take a while for the end game to get like good, but I mean, there's like a little bit of an end game, but there's not that many like super high level monsters.
Yeah, he might not unlock until like HR 100 or something. I don't know.
I feel like if we have tempered Arkveld spawning, surely he could spawn, right? But I mean, maybe not. I mean, we could just do Arkveld again if we want to. I have some investigations for that. Or maybe somebody in chat has a Jindahad with a gem. Or we could just do Jindahad normally again and just hope. Pray. I could use a lucky voucher.
Save that for the multi, because isn't that 88k or some shit?
Yeah. I have
Tons
like
of money.
almost 1 million gold anyways.
I'm gonna reset a couple more times. I'm getting some other
Okay.
good investigations out of it.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll try.
I want to see if I can get a combo tempered Arkveld again.
combo tempered out. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the investigation we did with the million rewards.
I saved a double like Rom Popolo that had a whole bunch.
Mm.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's kind of crappy because I think the like rarity 8 Ardian weapons are only from Arkveld and maybe Jindahad.
Yeah. settlement's having monster trouble. Interesting. Regular Arcfell.
You've been scanning SOS for Tempered Jindahaden. It never popped up once. Damn. Maybe it is either. Maybe it's really high rank or. Huh.
I was given a message for you.
Super.
The settlement is having monster trouble.
Super.
The settlement is in need of your help. Tempered Gore drops rank 8.
Oh, chat
I don't
says
think.
Tempered Gore can drop rank 8.
Oh, okay.
I did.
I don't
mark
think
it.
I've seen that guy before either.
Oh, really? I got
Wait,
one.
you have one?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let
Okay.
me scan this map. Oh, shit. It's a million rewards. New Udra gem.
That's good. If you want to make the Arkfeld armor, you will need a new Udra gem. Just FYI.
Super.
Excellent. I made the original Arkfeld armor, not the like tempered or the high rank.
Gotcha.
Super.
Zulu gem as well. Ulu Zulu.
Yeah, I have Flare. Well, I guess that's a comment in Lobo's chat, but
Okay, I'm gonna do one more rest.
okay. Ten reward Arkfelds. Well, you can get the even crazier ones if like it's the combo as well. Man, I'm not getting like anything. It's all such low rank stuff. But yeah, 10 reward is pretty damn good, nevertheless. All right, one more.
Another tempered gore.
Dang, you're getting lucky. I'm not seeing shit.
Did you say you hadn't fought Gore Magala yet?
I have fought him. I don't know about
Oh,
tempered,
okay.
but. Oh, by the way, do you have like the material retrieval from
Yes.
Nata? Okay, so when you rest like this, he'll be completely full again.
Oh,
So just keep
shit.
that in mind. You can,
Okay, I'll keep checking those.
yeah, you can just like farm a million materials super fast with the rest mechanic.
Nice.
Okay, bye.
Also, I love how it says like you have a meal in this location, but then it doesn't. There's no icon, right? Like I went to the spot and I couldn't find the guy who was giving the meal.
Yeah, that's a lot of mats. I'm just clearing out Nada, and then I'll post a quest.
Okay, sure.
Yep. Got something in mind? Hello.
Eat a meal.
Oh, the Ardian weapons don't even have skills on them, unless you have to upgrade to get equipment skills.
So the upgrades you get are like plus affinity, plus attack, and then I think they've got three slot decos or three. Like,
Yeah.
two, so,
yeah, I guess that makes up for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh wait, there's a blast one right here that.
Okay. So Tempered Gourd drops rarity 7.
Kind of want to kill.
Weapon fragments, it looks like. Or this one does.
Can I look at the songs?
Hello.
Okay. Posting.
Earplugs, attack up, self-improvement, environmental damage, echo wave blast, offset. This horn seems pretty cool,
Done already?
but I need an Ajaricon.
Right. Second burst, right?
How much is the attack up large buff? Does that give you like the skill, or is it like a separate? Is attack up large a separate buff from like the attack decoration?
Hello.
Have I been flinching you at all?
No, I don't think so.
I made a flinch free just in case, but I was doing SOS flares yesterday, and I got in a group with 3 dual blade users on like the stupid Chematrice, like tiny ass chicken, and
the chicken, yeah.
was just knocking everybody around. It was terrible.
Dude, I was trying to capture, and I literally couldn't. I couldn't put down a shock trap because these guys were just wailing on me. Wait, so how much is the attack up large buff?
Another heck with no shit.
That horn seems pretty good.
He's already fighting somebody else.
Yeah, you got flashed.
Oh,
Did I steal it?
yeah. But I did the whole animation and everything. I haven't fought the tempered version of this yet.
Oh, make sure to drink a hot drink if you haven't. Should be in your like supply pouch from them. Yeah.
God. Bringing him down. Damn, 737.
Nice.
I think that it's the Guardian Archel set, maybe. It's got like max bonus damage for wounds.
Yeah, it's Earth Flare, I think.
Slayer, yeah. What's chat doing with the like an air balloon or something?
I don't know. I got all the upgrades from a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got.
Oh god. Oh, it's way over here. Oh, hi. Take a chance. Reach him! No!
Holy.
Nice.
That hurt.
Oh, tail's off.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Wow, that hurt.
Oh. What's that?
It moves around so much.
Yeah. Get that pal, go put that trap for you. Come here, buddy. Oh, do you see? Did you look at the wounds right now? The blue ones? Oh, I knocked them down. Yeah. No, I think it is a guaranteed knockdown. I don't know what's happening. I'm just in here. His stupid wings cover everything. Trapped Blonganga over here. Can you sneak attack him right now? I was able to, but I accidentally.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, we can tame him or catch him.
Oh, nice. Don't leave. I want to risk it, but no.
I can flash him. I tried.
Yeah. Oh, what? Okay. Cutting trap.
Nice.
Oh, wait, yeah, I got rarity 8 stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Sweet. Yeah, I have another one of those as an investigation.
Okay.
And I don't know.
We could do a tempered arc belt as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody in my chat said they had like a really good reward one.
Sure, I'm down.
Check my map as well. 'Cause why not? Oh, tempered Jin Dahad!
Oh! No shit. Wait, I have what is rhyme chain? I have rhyme chain P Jindahad.
Yeah.
And it's like
Tempered Jin.
Oh, is that?
It says tempered after that, right? Tempered Jin Dahad.
Oh no, mine's not. So.
Oh,
yeah,
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, we both got the same one. I wonder if it has a chance of like appearing after a hunt or something.
Did you save him?
Yep.
Or can he do it as an investigation?
Yeah. So we can do it 3 times. It doesn't have a guaranteed gem, but
I heard from the
it
other.
is Jin Dahad.
Shit. Let's go. Oh boy. All right.
Get started.
All right, I posted it.
All right. Oh, nice.
Yep. What are we making
I guess I
today?
should save the other one as a investigation. Oh, it might be too late now. Nah, that's not better. Good to know, though.
Yaha.
Ooh, Arkveld has like a super good hunting horn. Sorry,
yeah?
I was looking through some stuff. Yeah, it's got attack up large and defense up large.
You know where to find me.
Ooh, nice.
How did I fix the horn issues? So there's a setting here I can show you. I mean, I doubt anybody else has this issue, but
Commencing quest now.
There's a setting here, enable rear buttons. I had to turn it off and back on, and then it fixed
A
itself.
supply shipment's come in. Hope you find something useful.
Although, actually, I don't know if it's that or when I like added the buttons, you have to do it through the game actions, not gamepad. You have to do game actions.
All right, I'm going. Sneak.
It's already down, damn.
Yeah, I was mounted.
Oh, gotcha.
Got wounded face. He's already moving. Later.
I gotta say, the auto travel is like so nice though. It's like turn off your brain. It was kind of satisfying though, to like actually learn the map and like know how to navigate it properly. Because I feel like I don't really pay any attention to the map anymore.
Yeah, it's like now I use the map to just like find out. Like I was farming sleep herbs for trank bombs.
Oh yeah.
I marked them on the map and then auto travel to them though, and then it's,
Yeah.
you just pick them and that's it.
Oh god. This guy fucking hurts.
I bet. I've got his armor set, so I think it makes you stay frozen less.
Oh really?
Nice. And then whenever you come out of your freeze, you get like a buff. And I think overall it's got good ice. Flash with this guy. What happens if I ghillie mantle while I've got this rat? Oh, it killed it. Nice.
Nice.
It's getting pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Forgot my hot drinks again.
bug on the wall. I just grabbed a bug off the wall. Oh, is he doing his big thing? Oh, geez.
That hit me? Wait, was that on? No.
Fuck, my camera's locked. Oh, I locked on.
I feel like weapon repair as a song is so fucking pointless. Not gonna lie, chat. It's like repairing is so easy.
It bugged out on my screen. Oh no!
We got hit!
It didn't work. Oh god. I'm a big fat liar.
Nice.
No, Pancake died. Oh, he's back.
You know about the flying with the Mao, right?
Yeah. I had it bug out once, and I jumped like off this super high cliff, and it was gliding down, but at like 5% speed. It took like
see.
a minute and a half to hit the ground. Oh.
Ouchie.
I'm spinning in the middle of his breath target. Okay, my depth perception sucks. I thought he was underneath that ice jump.
Ouch.
I gotta break this face.
Are you you're mounted him? I think.
Yeah, I'm not smashing it. Yeah, did you notice how badly they nerf damage when a monster's mounted now?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It seems better just to like instantly knock him down.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if one person like stayed up, if they could jump onto like the platform he's on here
Oh,
when you like jump down from above, you know?
that would be crazy. Gotta be close to doing this. Oh, there it is.
I didn't fail here, my teammates failed.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 2 people carted to that explosion
Oh, that's time.
when I was trying to get a gem. This attack is so weird.
doing?
It doesn't do like any damage. It just freezes
Does he
you.
like? Oh, I see. Maybe he's reselling like his armor. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of wounds right now. Coming for those wounds. Nice. I think the face is still intact. Gotta be close to breaking though.
He's almost dead.
Yeah. Okay, mid-ear. Always going up.
Oh, he's coming down.
Right next to this ledge. One thing with Wilds is like, I think I still have never been stunned. You know, where you have to like.
I've had it a few times, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's so much rarer. Like I feel like.
And like a lot of the time, the Palico, like whenever you're close to dying, the Palico will just like take aggro. I've noticed.
Yeah. I don't suppose we can capture him. He seems like an elder dragon.
Not this one.
Not this one. Yeah.
You're fine.
Oh, nice.
I got him.
I had my corrupted mantle on, so. But it seemed like it wasn't dealing damage while I was down. So.
I wonder if it can kill you.
Yeah, I wonder too. Good luck on Jim.
Come on. Come on. Nope. Nope. Counterattack jewel. I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Oh yeah, that's when you get knocked back, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right actually. I do have one of those. There's so many skills, it's so hard to remember
Yeah.
what does what. So there is a hunting horn, like a blast hunting horn I kind of want to try.
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
I need to kill a Jarakan though.
Okay. Sure. I farmed
whatever
the.
that is.
There's that quest that everybody needs to do for the.
I'll be waiting here.
Do you have the power charm and the armor charm?
I think so. Do they go in your inventory again?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh shit, wait, I think I have them because I did every single side quest, but I might have not put them in my inventory.
Yeah, if you did the double Jarakan arena fight and the double Hirabami, that's where you get those charms from.
Oh, okay.
But people are constantly running that if you want to do that because you get double the pieces.
You have to like claim them? Oh, next to my honey. Oh, I see them. Oh my god.
You haven't been using them? Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
I was just doing quests and I earned them at some point and I was like, what the fuck?
No, somebody told me, they were like, because I wasn't paying attention, they're like, you got the power charm from the quest, and then I got distracted and forgot.
Too easy.
Okay, nice. Well, I wonder how much that, like, you actually get from that.
Yeah, I don't know. And in World, you could upgrade them, but I don't know if you can upgrade them here yet. Let's see
I'll
if...
be waiting here.
Look for Tempered Jarakan.
Yeah, there is an optional. I'll reload a few times. I feel like it's not that rare, so you could probably get one
Yeah,
as an
probably.
investigation. 3 valuable
Does it show up
materials.
in the oil basin? I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I see 2 of them in the oil basin right now. Got a decent one with the Rathian gem, but it's like two monsters.
Yeah. Seeing regulars for now.
Charms that everyone forgets, yeah.
Subar. Subar.
I'll do one more reload, I don't know. I mean, we're getting some.
Shebar.
What are we looking for? We're looking for an Ajaricon on its own with bonus rewards.
Shebar.
I got one though. Okay, I got a normal one with like bonus rewards just on its own.
Okay.
It's
Let me
like
just check my
3.
map.
Okay.
Yes.
There's an arc belt there. No, I didn't get really anything good, but
Yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it has 3 like bonus materials from the monster and 2 or like 5 bonus materials total. Hopefully, it should die like really fast. It's rank 5.
Not forgetting anything?
nice.
I posted it.
Oh wait,
Well,
I
what
found
can
a
I do
tempered
for you?
Dajaricon. Oh shit.
Oh.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know if we even need to do tempered though, but
nah.
I'll be
I'm
waiting.
just, I'm just
you can
saving
you can
these for,
save
like,
it. Yeah.
for doing tempered in general.
Mm-hmm.
Another
Yeah,
tempered,
good idea.
Gore Magala too. Okay. Eating.
Let me double check. Plus version is high rank just in general. Well, I guess I'm responding to somebody in Lobo's chat, but
What are we making today? Shebar.
I need marrow and ridge.
Alright.
Wait a sec. I actually think I might need to kill a low rank one.
Oh shit, really?
Actually, let me double check.
What item do you need?
A Jaricon.
Yep.
Let me go back.
Got something in mind? Shebar.
You need
A
marrow?
Jaricon marrow. Yeah.
That is on
just
low
regular.
rank.
Is it low rank? Okay.
I see it on low rank, yeah. Let's go smash
Alright.
him then.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just post like an optional.
Yeah.
Should be fine. Might be on high rank 2. And see. Where's this guy?
Oh, it is on high rank as well. They're right.
I guess if it's low rank though, we might as well just kill a low rank one.
Yeah. It
Be
gets another,
super
like...
fast.
It has 3 of the rarest items, so probably... I think it's a larger pool of items.
Mm-hmm. On high rank, you mean?
Yeah, high rank.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna kill this guy in like
Shall we get started?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Wait, so how far did you get in Iceborne then? So you
I did
do
everything.
Fatales? Oh, you did, but you did co-op, not solo.
Yeah, I did a co-op, yeah.
Gotcha.
Oops. Yeah, the only thing I had left to do was kill, like, basically the 2 super bosses solo.
Gotcha.
Quest now.
Which duo would still be... not as bad, certainly, but still tricky. Because they're like DPS races, so...
Mm-hmm.
Be sure.
But they're fun. Oh man, I fought this guy so much I got used to like the block timing. And it's so fun. Just playing block mode. Oh, I forgot he's lowering. Oh yeah, I didn't. Did you know you can activate this storage thing?
Yeah, I don't think I ever successfully did it, but...
Yeah, I haven't either. I'm on top. I've seen somebody do it once. Maybe not on top. Gotta be a lever somewhere. Oh well. Oh, okay, you hook the thing above, apparently. You're mocking me!
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm activating the thing, ready?
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did this once, but it missed.
Ah, yeah.
Good boy.
Come on.
Marrow?
I don't actually know if I got any marrow.
Hmm.
Unlucky. I'll double check. Maybe I did.
Hey,
Oh, can you get it off just like the random
we
moon
making
breaks and
today?
stuff?
Yeah. Nope.
all ready?
All good?
Oh, again.
Hey, gang. It doesn't tell me when you've posted a quest, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think the link member is more for that because it'll actually invite you.
Oh,
Like, I was
really?
yeah, it goes, person has invited you to a quest, and you can accept it just from the menu. You don't even need to like talk to anybody.
I invited you to my Link party.
Oh shit! I'm joining quest right now.
I see.
I probably can't while I'm on the quest, but
You can do it after this.
oh wait, I can. I think maybe. Yeah, we're in a party now. Yeah.
What's up, Nong Man?
Quest now. Are you prepared?
Yeah. If you do the YB off the mount, it's a really good attack depending on the weapon too. Yeah, you do like a dismount attack. No, you just while you're on the mount and you're running towards YB. No. Nice. Yeah, hammer goes into spin. Yeah, they all have their own attack. Oh, yes, yes. Knock him down right here. Oh, get ready to pull it. Do it, do it. Oh, no, he moved. Nice. Nice, we got him. Oh, he's good. Flash bro. Come here. Look at me. Oh no. All right. Oh, I didn't refund the traps. We're ready now. Good luck.
Come on, baby. I don't think I got one.
Rough.
I'll add it to my wish list just to make sure. Notice, but
Okay.
Hey,
I wonder if no, I think the low rank is still in play.
got something in
I was gonna say
mind?
we could
yeah.
do the two ones in the arena, but it would just take longer to kill. Here, let me post one and I'll show you what it looks like when you get invited or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did it
Oh,
invite
cool.
you? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Easy.
So that just happened when you posted it? You didn't have to like invite me manually
Correct.
or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna send you a friend request too.
have another hug with
All right, bring him to the wall, Lobos. I'm gonna smash him.
Alright, coming. Gonna smash me too, though. Oh, he's looking at you. No, he's looking at Pancake. Wait. Ah! Got him.
Full damage during that. That's nice.
Nice. And you get, I think if you do a YB afterwards, you get like kind of a riposte, which is good. I, again, did not bring a trap out of it.
Oh, okay.
And he's ready. Oh, he's ready now. Nice. Oops.
I got it. Please. In the fucking arrow. I don't think I got it.
Rip.
How rare could this be?
Probably
I mean,
7%.
We could try the temper just for the or the high rank, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just probably getting unlucky.
Yeah, I think that'll only give like low rank, like Ardian materials, anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I figure. Let me look at the drop rate.
What are we making today?
On low rank, it is. Oh, it's 12% from tail, 5% from the quest, and 7% from carving. So we actually probably
See you
shouldn't
later. Sure.
Cut the
capture
tail?
him, I guess.
Oh yeah, we can carve as well. Okay, yeah, we'll kill him. I will switch to my longsword just to cut the tail as well.
Yeah. Yeah, tail 12%. So. Oh, actually. Okay, I'll post them.
Done already?
Kind of miss having like a big city in the game.
Yeah.
The base camps are nice, but
They're supposed to be adding it in.
oh really?
In the beginning, early April or something.
Okay.
Let's have another hug with a supply shipment. Can you find it?
Come here, buddy.
Bonk! Ow, bonk me too.
I parried the wall.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice.
No leaving.
Oh. Man, he's... Back throw.
All right, come on, tail.
Good luck. Well, take it that's a no.
Not from the tail, but maybe from the car.
Yeah.
Shell. Scale. Yeah.
Okay. Still no.
Request, yeah.
Good boy.
Dude, I can't get it.
No.
I have like, they just keep getting tails.
There's no mantle guarantee on the missions, right? On the wandering monsters, like a gem
No.
guarantee.
Don't think so. There can be the mission that gives like extra target rewards from the monster, but I don't think there's investigations for like low level. Problem.
Yeah. Can you just meld? You might be able to just meld it.
You think so?
I'm gonna check.
Because I thought melding is just for like gems.
Well, I think it's like the gem equivalent of low rank, so maybe, but I don't know. Let's see.
I mean, that would be nice if that works.
Wait. Oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking of a different thing. Okay, it's not meld. There's something else where I thought you could. What was it? I thought there was another service that you could do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know you can make like armor spheres and you can make gems and the Ardian stuff.
Where do you do the gems?
Gems is at the melder itself. The elder melder or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe not.
Got ourselves
Well,
a decent all we do.
Well, what can I do for you?
Surely this next time, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We've got the better strat now, so.
I mean, at least it's only like 2 minutes. The hunt.
Yeah.
The worst part, you know, Lobos, that I didn't tell you. I think I might actually need to.
Boy.
I'm not 100%
What do you need
sure.
it for?
I wanted to make a
weapon?
blast hunting horn. There's like a blast horn with
Okay.
attack up large and defense up large.
Got you.
So I don't know. It looked good. I figured like it's the only item I need. I was like, I figured this would be quick.
Now commencing quest.
Right.
Order of the gift. They've issued us supplies. Well, let's put them to use.
Hey, heads up next time.
Nice.
There it is. Easy. Nice. Won't let me mount him. Oh, get that wound. Oh no, get back. Oh shit. Nice.
See.
Excellent work. That's another quest complete.
I'm lucky I got the tail mid-combat.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got an Ajara Khan jewel.
I wonder, have you been getting marrow?
No, not yet. I've been watching.
Good boy.
See? Oh, I got one.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah. I probably have like 1 million because I farmed this guy so much. I had a blast weapon and I did this full set.
I see. Hold on, let me see if I need only 1 or 2.
What are we making today?
Oh, my monster parts, I wanna...
I think I only need 1, actually.
Yeah, I have 3 in storage. Wish I could give them to you. I'm gonna run to the restroom. Oh, well, actually, let me start the quest.
Done already?
All right.
Okay, BRB.
I heard from the others.
No, you can't trade, sadly. I don't think. Oh. You get double the bot spam? Yeah.
Now commencing quest by order of the guild. A supply shipment's come in. Hope you find something useful.
Oh, do you know how to like force a monster to bonk? Or is that something you can do?
I didn't think you could.
They do bonk, but it seems like it's on their own accord sometimes. They'll just hit and it's like 800 damage or something.
I see.
And I know there's like a thorn wall that if they're nearby they will go bonk into it and does extra damage.
No. I had to craft. Jeez.
Reset. Did you get the tail?
No, actually, let me go grab that. Cool.
I gathered some materials too. Just a field pouch.
That was weird.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Do it. 2 mantles incoming. 4 mantles. Oh, I got
No.
marrow.
No, good.
I'm in marrow, yeah. Fuck.
All right, come on. Maybe from the quest.
Wait, this is all low quality stuff, right? Yeah, never mind.
Please. Please.
Get it.
Oh.
What? The game doesn't want you to have a blast weapon.
Yeah, clearly.
Does your ship guy by chance sell it? Because he can sell the
Ship guy?
Yeah, the Argos ship that comes in occasionally sells stuff. The
Where
base
is that?
I know it to be in the plains, right next to like the item vendor guy. But he's not. The ship isn't always
What can I
in.
do for ya?
Mine's not
see.
in right now.
Got ourselves a decent all we do.
Oh wait, support ship?
Oh,
Yeah. He'll sell usually like 2
How about ya?
weapons, and they're kind of random.
all right.
Yeah,
And
support
what'll
ship.
be needed? I see.
That would be crazy if
I'm
you
on
got
it.
lucky and it was there, but
Nah. He does have some
Yeah.
items, but
I'll make that happen
Mhm.
for you.
let's see.
I mean, yeah, like, I'm just unlucky. I mean, you've already gotten 2. Like, the odds aren't even that bad because
No.
it's the tail plus 3 carbs plus the quest rewards. So
I'll be waiting
Yeah,
here.
there's a lot of checks.
Mhm.
It's just the Monster Hunter way.
yeah,
You need it, you get it. You don't get it.
yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have added it to my wish list. The game is, it knows.
I heard from the others, yes.
Okay.
I can help you source materials.
Here, I tell you what. Let's do this. We're gonna do the double, and you're gonna get a bunch of marrow.
Okay,
It'll take
sure.
longer, but
Switch it up. Why not?
yeah.
Okay, bye.
Oh, right, it's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was...
Quest now.
I think you're right. It's
Prepare.
probably a better idea to do this.
But I think they're high rank
They've
though.
issued us supplies.
Oh, okay.
Let's put them to
Um,
use.
The item pool is slightly different. I don't know if the odds are different though. It might be higher. I still want to cut tails for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, are you mounted? Oh, nice. Peace out. Oh man, so I just realized earlier today that there's like, if you do a jumping attack, there's a Y attack, there's a B attack, but there's also a YB attack. And for Sword and Shield, it's like a multi-hit, like all the way down, like I don't know if that's the same for Longsword, but it could be cool.
Yeah, what do you... Oh yeah, it's a pretty cool attack. Do you mean off the mount? Or just like any jumping attack?
Yeah, any jumping attack.
Gotcha.
I can just go. Can we separate them? I don't know. Or try and do the wall.
Yeah, well, they're like separate aggro, I think, anyways.
They are not separating. You got the big one? Yeah, you're...
tail should be pretty close, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that one's really good for mounting, I just realized. The YB version.
The other guy just woke up, walked away.
Ah! Nice.
Oh, nice. You ran him into the boulder.
Yeah, so that, I was just telling my chat, because I'm not sure when he decides to do that and doesn't, because I think you need like a special terrain for them to do that.
My weapon is yellow, dicks.
Back row. Yeah. Make sure you get all the tails. Oh wait, there's only. Oh, I guess there's 2 tails. Yeah.
You got a medulla. I don't think that's.
Oh,
Need
no.
marrow.
Let's see. Come on, rewards.
Please. Wait, the rewards were terrible. There was like nothing.
What?
Yeah, there was like 4
Eight
items.
items. Hmm. Well, that's awkward. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, it's okay. I mean, it was worth trying.
Well, let me check if the drop chance is different on the high rank version. Okay, on the high rank, marrow is only from target
Anything
rewards,
can
but it's
happen.
7%. So higher chance on the target rewards, but you can't get it from carve or
Yeah,
tail.
I see.
Yeah. Medulla is kind of takes the place of marrow. So I don't know, your call, whichever you want to try doing.
Well, I think low rank is still better odds, and it's pretty fast, right? So.
Yeah, it is fast. No sweat off our backs.
We'll get it this time.
Yes, 100%.
And you already got 2, though.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, we can. We could do something else if you don't, don't want to keep doing
No,
this.
I'm down, dude. I am a grinder. I like
Okay.
to farm and grind. So. Also, you still need Jindahad gem. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have that investigation? Like 2 more or?
No guaranteed gem. Does anyone in our chats have a Jindahad gem guaranteed?
Oh.
Maybe? Kang Khan has one. All right, we'll get this marrow, and
yeah?
then we'll get that gem from Kang Khan.
Yeah. Nice. Bonk. Oh my god.
Yeah, the only bad thing about Paralyze is sometimes you like, it'll cancel the down from
Yeah. Oh! Oh yeah, get that tail. I got the game back to you. Oh, nice.
Maybe he'll come back. I don't know.
I'm going. Yeah, he's just flailing. Oh,
Nice.
here we go.
Come on, baby. Scale. Shell. Shell.
Scale.
Oh, I got it. Oh, thank God. Finally. Yep.
About.
I got
Oh,
one.
did you
I
get
think I
one?
only need one.
Oh,
I think.
let's see.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It's weird because I added to my wish list, and in my wish list it said I needed 2, but then I checked the forge and it said I only need 1. So I don't know.
Maybe he had something left
catch
over.
your eye?
No, I don't know. Last hunting horn is go.
Look good? Oh, perfection. Ready to get to work? Oh, perfection. Oh, perfection.
All right.
Were you able to get it pretty much max leveled?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Shabar.
All right. Hell yeah.
Fit you to a T.
We could,
From the others.
oh, look at my horn, dude. I think it's sick.
Yeah.
I'm behind you.
Oh, right. You're in the world. Wait. I don't see you actually.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I don't see you. Oh, wait. There you are. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. Nice. It's like a big torch almost. So wait, King Khan had a guaranteed gem?
I think that's what he said. He said he was in a hunt, though. He said it would be like 5 minutes.
Okay. Another tempered gore Magala.
See you later.
Go for the agitator perk. So these are my current perks. I have... Yeah, I have Critical Eye 3, Slugger
I'm gonna do a little bit of
3,
resting.
Blast Attack 2, Attack Boost 1, Weakness Exploit 3, Flare 3, Heartbreaker 3. So we got like pretty good. Like pretty happy with what I've got. I mean, I'm kind of just judging what to go for based off of like Monster Hunter World, but we're gonna get a. If I get the gem from this, we're gonna get Weakness Exploit 5, which will be really, really nice. Show melodies. Yeah, so it doesn't have offset counter, or the offset, or wait, no, it does have, it does have offset melody, never mind. But yeah, it has attack, wait. Wait,
Sure. What are we
I could have
making?
sworn it had,
Shabar.
well, it has attack up large. Wait, which one was I looking at before then? I don't know. But it has attack up large at least. I wonder what, wow, like look how many songs this thing has. The necklace and cloak plus. I don't think so.
See you later.
How do you join me? You need to join our session ID.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get King Khan added here.
Okay.
Oh,
He's
unless
in the
you're-
lobby, so he should be
Oh,
able to just
okay.
post it, I think, but
Okay, I can invite him to the link thingy too. But yeah, let me post a
Waiting here.
lobby request. See if he can join. Oh wait, he's posting it, right? Never mind.
yeah. Sent him an invite to the link party too.
Yes.
waiting here. Right.
Oh, I see the quest. Yeah, let's go. Guaranteed on a tempered tooth. That's awesome.
Sick. The blast horn's probably not even going to be very good, chat. After this, do you want to go play that other game?
Sure, I'm down. I'll need to like
By
get
order
something
of
for
the-
lunch, but then after
Okay.
that.
Sounds good.
A supply shipment's coming. Hope you find something useful.
That game has like insanely good reviews. So I'm excited for.
Yeah, I saw overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, I've heard people like. I was reading some of the reviews, and apparently it actually has like a good amount of content. So
Nice.
yeah. Oh, I need to eat.
Don't forget your hot drinks too.
True.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think you can make them in this Tactical Zero. Because I've completed every single side quest in the game.
I just realized you were giving earplugs. That's really nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what they in the story. They're like, you could aggro these Hirabami to fight the
Oh,
bro
yeah.
with you. So I'm aggroing them all. I'm bringing them.
Nice.
Bringing them to the party. Hopefully they don't cause us more problems. He's getting knocked around like that. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I gave attack up large. I don't know how much it actually gives, but
Oh, nice. I pulled down the icicle on him, so that like so the other things were attacking him, I think. Oh, he's leaving. Bye. I'm gonna try it.
oh, that hurt.
Oh! I've been like jump scared a couple times when doing SOS because like whenever you mount, all the characters go nice, but like if they've done the weird modulation on the voices, it's like they're so loud. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh, there goes the tail. If you didn't get it. Oh, I got a gem from the tail. Ooh. What's up? Shit.
Lucky boy.
Don't need it though. Well, maybe I'll need it.
I mean, some of the best armor is like the arc belt, and you need it for that. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm using it right now, but I guess it's probably the low rank. Oh wait, no, you said arc belt. Never mind. I was thinking that's
Gotcha. Yeah, I think with the earplugs buff on, we actually have level 3 earplugs. Actually, I don't know if I have earplug. Oh, I don't know. Very nice.
Hey, yo. Sick. 4 more rarity 8 things. I gotta start checking and see if I can make one now.
Yeah, you can make them easily. It's just you.
Yeah.
Well, people were telling me you want like 3 of the same element. So
Yeah, if you want to put element on it.
yeah.
So like I'm trying to go for like a blast or poison,
Not that
sword and shield.
Gotcha.
So I need to see if I've got all those. Got a blast one. Oh. Ah, I need a blast disc. Ugh. but I have the blade and tube. That's nice.
Hey. Anything catch your eye? All right. Perfection. Super.
All right, I got max weakness exploit now. See.
Oh shit, nice.
Oh yeah.
I can see about what my next armor set is going to be. Oh yeah, I've got most of the stuff for Arcveld. Oh, not Guardian Arcveld, there we go.
I guess I lost a part. Well, maybe I can. Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Super. Super.
Crit element doesn't work. I don't have crit element
Is
on.
repo time?
Yeah, I'm down. I can ask. I can tell Larks.
Okay. I'll take a break and get my food going and
Okay.
figure all that out. We'll do some repo.
I do kind of like having the evasion jewel, but wait, do I need this destroyer to hit level 3 part breaker? I do. I don't really have that many good, like... I wish I had, like, evasion 1, but I don't. I could just put some of those in.
Super.
Unless maybe you can't get that as a 1. Maybe you can't get evasion as a 1 slaughter. Oh, we have wide range jewel. Maybe we'll just put those on. 2 friendship jewels. It's only 33% effectiveness, but Yeah, I mean, we've got pretty good skills now. We've got critical eye 3, slugger 3, blast attack 2, attack boost, weakness exploit 5, flare 3, heartbreaker 3.
Subar?
Definitely not bad build, I feel like. Axe gems? The gems on the axe don't do anything. Or wait, the gems only work when you have the weapon out, right? Surely they don't give just extra buff, right? Or do they?
Subar.
Because I see it in the list here, but... surely they don't count, right? Wait, does anyone know?
Subar?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Because you can see here, yeah, it's separate. It's separate. Because if I equip it here, it doesn't pop up. Yeah.
Subar?
I don't have attack jewels for my armor, though. I haven't found any attack jewels for my armor.
Now that's a good choice.
Where's the melder lady? Is she in the basin? No, the forge is here. Do you know where the melder is, Lobos? Or anyone in chat? Suja? Okay, thanks.
Give it a try. I hope it suits your taste.
Is it possible to get like an attack gem? Can you even get attack on the armor? Oh, you can get defense boost. Oh, okay. Only weapons because it's an offensive skill, I see. You can get Flare on armor. Yeah, but Flare is only a level 3 gem, I think.
Give it a try.
Whatever. I mean, we've got a good set. We're switching over to Repo now anyways, so... Let me save the game,